this is a video on a couple pieces of specific syntax, and it's going to be the parentheses, which are pronounced parens in programmer speak, which is what you get when you press Shift and 9 and Shift and 0 on a keyboard. Square brackets, which is the keys that are a little bit up and to the left of the Enter key, and curly braces, also sometimes just called braces, which are what you get when you hit the brackets key and Shift at the same time. Each one of these comes as a pair, so there's always an open, which is the left one, and a close, which is the right. And they have very specific meanings, and they are not interchangeable. We're going to talk about parens first. Parens do two things. The first thing that parens does is it works as a function. So what a function is it's a programming concept where we have something that we're going to pass some values in, and we're going to get it to do something. So like if we think about a mathematical concept, we have like sine and cosine and those. So I can type in sine of some number like 32. When you see brackets or parens, we pronounce those as the stuff inside as of. So this is sine of 32. And what it's doing is it's taking the value of 32 and calculating the sine function of this. Same thing if I wanted to take an absolute value of a number. Like absolute value of -5 is 5. These are just functions I'm coming up with off the top of my head because they're built in and they're common and they're easy. If I leave the close off, R will fault because it's, well, it didn't fault, but it's looking for me to finish. If I type other stuff, it doesn't know what SADCC is, neither do I. You always have to close it, and you have to have good stuff after it. Because at this point, the computer has absolutely no idea what the heck you wanted because it's looking for a closed parens here. So, what do we do this in more common stuff? Or in R? So like if we look at our plot function, plot's also a function. We've got plot of my y relative to my x. There are many different types of functions that will do many different things. ANOVA is a function. Fisher's tests are a function. These are all different types of implemented as different types of functions. Now, so like for an absolute value or a sine value, we get only a single number out. If we're talking about a like an ANOVA result or a Fisher's result, we're going to get a lot of things out, like we're going to get a p-value, we're going to get df values, degree of freedom values. We're going to get a lot of stuff out. So those get entered into a more complex data type that we'll talk about much later. But you can always get, any function is going to return some kind of value to you. Even like plot, it does the plotting, but then it also, we could be storing some of these values as well. But that's a topic for a different day. But I just wanted to point out that parens are for functions. They're also for our if statements and our for loops. These provide what are called the conditional part of these control structures. So with the if statement, what we're doing is we're checking to see if my selection equal 1. The parens are used to tell it what are we checking. This is the start of where we start checking something, and this is the end of the we're checking stuff. The curly brace opens up the part of what do we do. So if this is true, then we do the stuff from this curly brace. Oops, sorry. Let's play with a mouse. We do stuff from this curly brace down to the matching curly brace. So if my selection equal 1, we do this concatenation function based on these values. Sometimes when the code gets much longer, it can be a little bit harder to find the matching one. Here they happen to be really easy and they're all on one screen. So if I move my cursor inside a brace and I hit Control P, that'll take me to the other matching brace. How do I know this? Because I have gone in the past to Tools, Keyboard Shortcuts Help, and I get a whole pile of shortcuts. It's under Control P here for Jump to Matching. And that's where I found this.